Greetings and welcome to the Westwater Resources Conference. It is now my pleasure to introduce your host, Chris Jones, Chief Executive Officer. Thank you, Mr. Jones. You may begin.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody to Westwater's presentation. I invite you to read the cautionary statements on slide 2 at your leisure. We will be talking about some forward-looking information as we go along, and we're off to the races. So, Westwater is a green energy material developer. We are a 40-year-old company, and we'll talk about that as we go along. But recently, and over the last 2 years, we've been developing a battery graphite business in Alabama, and we're scheduled for production in late 2022. And now with the vanadium discovery, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go along. We are currently exploring for lithium in Nevada and Utah on two prospective properties, and we retain leverage to a rising uranium price with 2 licensed processing plants in Texas and about 200,000 acres of mineral rights and development properties in New Mexico. First and foremost, ensuring the safety of our employees is the critical measure of our success. And to the extent that COVID-19 has affected our business, we have eliminated unnecessary travel. We've instituted health protocols for working together and instituted remote working arrangements for our employees where we can based on CDC and state guidelines where we operate. We've ensured that our employees are permitted and encouraged to take time off due to illness or the illness of those around them without penalty. And reclamation activities in South Texas, I will note, are continuing using protocols designed to ensure the safety of our employees. We have about 20 people down there. Ensuring the health and growth of our business, we continue to work with our business partners to maintain our advanced battery graphite product development schedule. There has been no interruption, in fact an acceleration during these 120 days of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. Dorfner Anzaplan, our technical consultant, continues to provide results that will shape our pilot plant operations scheduled for the final quarter of this year. We continue to work with to ensure adequate financial liquidity to support our key operations and business activities through a stock purchase agreement with Lincoln Park Capital, a controlled equity offering sales agreement with Cantor Fitzgerald, and we were able to secure a PPP loan for our URI subsidiary in Texas. Westwater has prevailed also in a key decision in its case for compensation from the Republic of Turkey. Note that the Republic of Turkey seized our uranium licenses in the Republic of Turkey a couple of years ago, and we are now taking them to court. The ICSID Court, the International Council for Settlement of Investment Disputes, has turned down Turkey's request for a bifurcation of the case. And what that really means is that there's no delay. Our hearing is still scheduled for September of 2021. And we are requesting $36.5 million plus our legal expenses for doing the work. From a stock and financial standpoint, we currently report 5.9 million shares outstanding and a current share price of around $2.40, market cap of $14.5 million. Our cash and cash equivalents as of March 31st, 2020, were $900,000 with $300,000 worth of debt. That is the PP loan we previously spoke of. Note that we report results tomorrow morning and have a conference call scheduled for 10 a.m. Mountain, noon Eastern, and we invite you to attend that call for a further update on our stock and financial snapshot. You can find coordinates for that particular call on our website through a press release from a few days ago. Let's talk about the Coosa Graphite Project. The Coosa Graphite Project is all about battery graphite. Batteries themselves have 3 important aspects of the market. Certainly the transportation market that you've heard and read so much about with regard to electric vehicles. We see a double-digit, a 23% annualized growth rate in the adoption rates of electric cars. So Think of an adoption rate right now at around 2% of the total global market, rising fivefold in the next several years. That's a fivefold increase in the need for the raw materials that go into those vehicles. You might see a Tesla. I see 800 pounds of batteries and 200 pounds of graphite. Energy storage and other aspects, from lead acid batteries, like the one in the car you probably drove to work or to the grocery store yesterday, or alkaline power cells like those that are in your smoke detectors and your flashlights at home. These are important markets for battery graphite. They are large, 10 billion units a year in terms of alkaline power cells, and the lead acid battery market is the single largest battery market in the world. And of course, consumer electronics, like a phone you may hold in your hand right now or the laptop you're watching this presentation on. Those markets are mature, they are big, and they all use graphite. Graphite's a major component of all batteries. So coated spherical graphite, coated purified spherical graphite, more importantly, is that material that goes into lithium-ion batteries. Think of that material as tiny little spheres of graphite that are coated with hard carbon and are the anode material for lithium-ion batteries. As I previously said, it's about 25% of the lithium-ion battery's weight. The U.S. government has defined graphite as critical to the nation's security and prosperity going forward. The Coosa Graphite Project provides key advantages. We're the only near-term source of domestic U.S. natural graphite. Pilot plant design work is underway, and as I previously said, we're on track to provide our pilot plant results by the end of this year. We're forecasting 12.5 tons of material developed in the fourth quarter of this year through that pilot plant. And that pilot plant, of course, is designed to provide information for our feasibility study in the first half of 2021. Customer qualification is underway. We already have a 1-ton bulk sample order announced previously from an alkaline power cell manufacturer. Westwater's graphite will be produced using environmentally sustainable processes here in the United States, and that's important as the Chinese, which presently dominate the market, don't always adhere to the same sustainable environmental processes we are required to and enjoy here in the United States. And we serve all battery markets. And our vanadium discovery at Coosa can be an enhancement to the project's already great economics. The 3 products we are making in the lab right now and at presently developing in greater quantities in preparation for our pilot plant are our PMG product. Purified micronized graphite is the material that goes in all battery types as a conductivity enhancer, from alkaline power cells, lead acid batteries, the coin cells you see on the end caps at Home Depot, and into the CSPG / lithium-ion battery market. Our UltraTech CG product is a delaminated version of that, which has an increased conductivity enhancement property. That's a development property for us, our project for right now, and we're making that material in the lab. That goes into the same markets. And we've talked about CSPG, the little spheronized objects that go into a lithium-ion battery. This is a high-performance anode material, and once again, goes into the electric vehicle market. Slide 12. We're looking at a battery graphite process flow sheet. Basically, it defines how it is we do our 3 products. We take graphite concentrate, which is 95% carbon. We purify it to 99.99% carbon, and then we process it using 3 different processes into 3 different materials. That enables us to service all battery markets as opposed to some other graphite producers around the world that specialize into just, for instance, the lithium-ion battery market. Pilot plant startup, as we said, is due in the final quarter of this year, and we'll be generating products for pre-qualification in large batches to facilitate our sales contract work. Our full-scale production is expected on purchased feedstock in 2022, and then we'll begin mining in 2028. The reason we decided to defer the mining is that mining permitting timelines tend to be lengthy, And we can accommodate those through a long-term agreement we have already executed with a supplier of graphite concentrate, graphite that looks a lot like Coosa, so that when we change over from purchased graphite to the Coosa project's mined graphite, there will be little that we have to do to adjust our processes. The project itself, Capex is estimated currently at $54.5 million. About $2.5 million this year for the pilot plant. We will be self-funding that, and in 2021, the balance of the $54.5 million begins to be spent. Construction is finalized in 2022, with commissioning and startup in the last quarter of 2022. First full year of positive cash flows, 2023. And our project pre-tax NPV at 8% is $481 million with an internal rate of return of 41%. And the vanadium development can enhance these economics, and we're considering at the present equity, project level debt, and joint venture structures for financing of that larger capital expense. Our lithium projects are located in Nevada and Utah. The Columbus Basin project is a brine potential project located just west a little bit of Tonopah, Nevada. We've got about 14,000 acres under lease right now with good highway power and ample groundwater. We own the water rights to that project, and they're important to any brine project. Phase 1 drilling is complete, and we had encouraging results in that. Salrica is located near the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah at the far western edge. We have a little over 13,000 acres there. Good sample results so far, and again, we own the water rights for that project. Moving on to our uranium portfolio, I'd remind listeners that we have been in the uranium business for 40 years. We ceased production in 2009, and this team came in to repurpose the vehicle beyond uranium into green energy materials. That said, we still have a portfolio of uranium assets that give us leverage to a rising uranium price as we go along. And uranium has been designated as a critical material once again, and if you've been listening to the news about uranium, the President has put in his budget proposal that goes to Congress $150 million per year to establish a national uranium reserve. That is designed to rebuild the American assured fuel supply as we go forward. Remember that 20+% of the power we use in the United States is generated through nuclear power, and this is exclusively a nuclear fuel. And a little bit about the vanadium. A year and a half ago, we were on the site, and we discovered, quite literally, sitting on an outcrop, the presence of vanadium. By the end of the year, we had sent well over 2,000 samples to the lab for test and find vanadium widespread on the Coosa project. We've yet to define the metallurgy and the extents of the vanadium, but know that it comes with the graphite and is already part of the processing. So it's a matter of defining what that metallurgy is, removing the vanadium, and as long as it is cost effective to do so, we have an alternate and additional source of revenue as we go forward. Much work needs to be done to connect the dots on our samples and provide something of a resource estimate, but we're pretty excited about what it is. There's absolutely no downside in having vanadium, and it's all upside. And it's trading at approximately $5 to $6 a pound, and vanadium, our vanadium, would most likely go into the steel business of V2O5. Our team and what we like to say are tenured leaders in energy minerals development, but fundamentally we are all mature individuals. I've been in the business for over 40 years, got an MBA from Colorado State and a bachelor in mining from the South Dakota School of Mines. Jeff Vigil's been in the business for more than 40 years as well. He carries a BS in accounting from University of Wyoming. He is a licensed CPA, and he has manufacturing, mining, and corporate accounting experience spanning these 4 decades. Dean McCoy joined the predecessor company in 2004. He's been experienced in all aspects of ISR mining and development. He's a licensed professional engineer in Texas. He's a Bachelor of Mining Engineering or Mechanical Engineering from Colorado School of Mines, and he's heading up our Alabama Graphite business. Javed comes to us as a dual citizen. He is not only a citizen of Turkey, but a citizen of the United States with a Master of Science from the University of Arizona and a BS in Geological Engineering. He's heading up all of our technical efforts for our graphite business, and we are happy to have him in the Denver office with us now. John Lawrence, General Counsel and Corporate Secretary, former engineer, retrained as an attorney. He has been in the business for more than 30 years as an attorney and an engineer, and acts as our general counsel as we go forward. And our newest addition, in fact, is our most exciting addition recently to the team, is Jay Wego. He came to us with a BS in marketing from Georgia State, and has more than 20 years experience in sales and marketing to the lithium-ion and electric vehicle markets in the U.S. and Asia. We're excited to have Jay on board. He's been on board for a month. He has now defined our sales strategy going forward, and is an active member of the team. We look forward to having him full-time in Denver within the next 12 months as we go forward. Experience matters. Demonstrated history by management as we go forward. What we have done is restructured this company and recapitalized the company over the past several years, repositioning Westwater as a diversified energy materials company, most importantly in the green energy materials space, and very most importantly in the graphite space. We have in place an experienced management team with a demonstrated history of developing businesses from concept to production. And we've executed a proactive M&A program which has helped reposition Westwater's uranium asset base around low production cost assets, selling non-core uranium and other properties as we went along, redeploying capital to cost effectively expand our resource base into green energy materials like lithium and graphite. We benefit from strong fundamental market drivers in all of our portfolio materials, leverage to the battery materials sector, as we've talked about with our CUSA project, leverage to rising uranium prices with one of the largest known uranium mineralization bases in the United States and 2 licensed uranium processing facilities in Texas. There's a pending U.S. government recommendation on uranium purchases that provides upside for U.S. producers and developers as we go along. And a new vanadium discovery at CUSA has the potential to provide entry into steel markets. We have a strong asset portfolio with upside potential. We're a proven management team with experience in energy materials development and financial management. And you should anticipate further catalysts through 2020, most importantly around the CUSA Graphite project development and project milestone achievement. With that, I'd like to open it up to questions. Let's see. And I'm reviewing those questions as we go. The sound's very low. Well, is there any ongoing discussion in supplying lithium to Texas? Not currently. We are an exploration project only. As we go into development, those conversations would be more important. Note that Tesla's facility in Reno is just about 4.5-hour drive from our Columbus Basin property. And another question here is, has the Turkey Mining Authority met recent deadlines for replies and responses to the arbitration panel? No, but we've agreed upon an alternate schedule that does confirm that our final hearing date with ICSID will be in September of 2021. We allowed them one extension. And then question number 2, what is the sales strategy for the graphite market? I think we talked a little bit about where we're headed with our different products. Our customer mix right now is proprietary to us. We don't want to create a competitor where none needs to exist. And with the hiring of Mr. Wego, we now have an active presence in developing that customer mix. There's a question here, can we shed any light on the R&D project with an automaker? That is a confidential project right now. We are permitted and encouraged to talk about the fact that there is a project, but with regard to the actual project, we'd like to keep that in the house if we possibly can. With that, that does look like all the questions we have at this point right now. We are happy to entertain any new ones, should anybody desire. And I would encourage listeners to go ahead and attend our call tomorrow at 10 o'clock Mountain, that's noon Eastern. Coordinates are on our website through a press release we had on our results conference call. We'll be posting our results by press release tomorrow morning and to the SEC this evening. So I want to thank everybody for their time today, and I turn it back over to our host.